Welcome to Murundaka. Murundaka is an Aboriginal name that we got permission from the local Wurundjeri elders to use here, and it's a beautiful name. It means place to live, place to stay, and it's got special significance for us. We've had a number of different events here with different members of the local community, and it's been a wonderful thing for us to have here as we commence the journey in our building community.
I want to ask you why? Why co-housing? For you personally, why co-housing?
Okay, what actually drove me to be involved was my understanding of the myriad of crises which are looming or have arrived and are coming together, layering themselves on top of us and our society and our planet. And overarching all that was climate change. And so for me, the time frame for action on climate change pushed me to do what was probably one of the most radical things I've done in my life, which was let my home, my co-op home, where I'd lived for nearly 20 years and raised my children, be bulldozed to make way for this. And I did think about it for a little while because I was pretty content where I was and had 2 children, ducks, dogs, chooks, garden, little orchard. So it was a lot to, and I did it because I understood that for us to really grapple with the transformative change that's required to deal with climate change and many of those other crises that I've alluded to, we need to address it in the suburbs. We can't always be looking at greenfield sites and going out away from where the infrastructure and the services are. Most people live in the suburbs around the world, so the suburbs is where the change has got to happen, the transformative change. Andrew.
So can I just ask, so this is 3 standard suburban blocks?
Yeah.
Okay.
3 large blocks.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought it looked bigger than 3.
Yeah.
So this is a standard apartment. Giselle has an amazing art collection, so she's chosen to show her art collection instead of paint the walls like I did at my place. She's got an amazing view out here. We'll often go out and have community cricket games, which all the kids in the other area on that side all know about and run over when they see us going out there with the cricket bats, which is really nice.
So there's separate metering for the utilities?
There is at the moment, yeah. It's one of the things we're looking at, maybe putting that on the table for our energy innovation. But yeah, at the moment, separate metering for utilities, and we all pay a common house fee, like a body corporate fee, where we put that money towards paying for the common area, electricity, gas and water.
So down here we have 2 herb patches for easy access. The rocket sort of took over a bit, but yeah, those are the 2 herb patches. It's close to the kitchen. And we have some Vietnamese mint and a little fig tree. So this is all big communal shared gardens. So there's a gardening group and we all do work on the garden. And this is all fruit and veg. So yeah, we also have a chicken group, and they look after the chooks. I don't have much to do with the chooks, but we collect the eggs and eat them. So good.
Pretty brief. Our story is basically that we came here by bicycle. So we went on a long bicycle trip from Hobart to Cairns last year, which took about 8 months and was about 6,500 kilometres. And while we were doing that, we were investigating more sustainable ways of living, and in particular, looking at intentional communities. So this is a photo taken from when we first visited, and after we returned from the bicycle journey, we wanted to live more simply, but also stick to some values, and those values were travelling by bicycle, or using our bodies as a form of transport, so not owning a car, living in a small space, and focusing on non-material sources of happiness, so connection and relationships. And Murundaka fitted all those for us because, for starters, it's an urban community, so you can get around by bicycle. The apartments are small because you've got a communal space where you can enjoy interacting with others. So quickly, some experiences. That's the naked baby from the when we had where everyone sort of huddled in the common house during the recent heat wave, and we used the evaporative cooler instead of turning on a whole lot of air conditioners in individual apartments, so that was a way of saving resources.
People brought down their laptops and did their work during the day, and we brought in the baby pool, cooled down.
And this photo is another really great example of one of the benefits of community, being that you spend time with people of all ages. I would probably, if I wasn't living here, I wouldn't have much interaction with a young child. I've always seen little babies as blobs of inconvenience, to be frank. But having spent some time with Al, I now see that she's got an emerging personality. So I think that's a fantastic aspect of community, interacting with people of all ages.
I moved in when I had just turned 11, I think. And yeah, I've loved it the whole time. It's great to be able to, have a place where I can come downstairs and there's always people around, and I can, there's kids to play with, and there's people to help me with stuff, and there's lots of great food, and I love all the social events and going away together and all that. And I also really love being able to have a say, and I'm 13 now, but I still get to have such a big say in this community, which I think is really, and I've learnt so much from everyone here.
The most important thing for me here is probably our social values, is the way that we have goodwill towards each other, and we want to spend time together. And we might differ on ideologies, and there's sort of a benchmark, and then there's reality, and there's the gap, and there's lots of conversations to come out of that, and there's differing requirements, and there's balancing your life outside of here to the life here, but fundamentally it's really the friendships and just the social context, which is really human and just very instinctual, I think, just coming together and being good to one another is not that complicated. So that's probably the thing I get out of being here.
Well, the thing that I've got most out of today actually is the excitement and the inspiration back. And whilst I know that that's not the whole story of being in community, I think when you're living in community you can really get bogged down with the hardness of it. And so it's really nice to go to something public where people are presenting the best and the philosophical and the ideological and the value stuff. I think the stuff that inspires us, I think that's what I've really got out of today. I know how hard it is. I know that we have to work on our consensus decision making and our conflict resolution and our communication skills and dealing with our own baggage and all of that. I know all of that. But it's really nice to re-engage with the really nice stories that go alongside that. Yeah.
Well, today has been eye-opening, it's been inspirational, it's been emotional. I've seen a way of living which really I think is a way for the future for a lot of people, and it's given me a lot to think about.